Alright, hello again. So yeah, today I'll be continuing on with adding. Oh, let me just check that yeah, I'm using the wrong speakers, so I'll just connect up. That should be better. So today I'll be continuing on with adding tests and yeah, trying to get towards that elusive initial commit for this project. So I've been doing a little bit of research since yesterday. One thing that I might be able to do, so I was looking into the Clippy issues, and there seems to be a Clippy argument called no deps, which so just found it in excuse me, the Rust GitHub repository for Clippy, I believe. And I think it's just no deps. So let me just take a look here. No deps. Yeah, add no deps command line argument. So if you want to run Clippy only on the given crate, use the no deps option. Not actually sure what workspaces are, so hopefully the default will just work for me. But let's take a look, see what happens. Maybe I'll put that down there. So so it was make check lint. No deps wasn't expected or isn't valid in this context. Maybe if I do put it elsewhere. So first of all, let's see. Want to run Clippy on the example crate. So what's my crate called? Is that the thing defined in TOML? So the name is Norpal. Maybe if I go P and Norpal, that'll work. No. And is it an issue with Rust C? So I'm still running on the newest version, I believe. Yeah, that's 9th of the 5th, so that's fairly recent. If I go cargo V, yeah, that seems about right. Oh wait, that comes after this dash dash, so this would probably want to go down here. I can probably remove that. Ooh, that still isn't working. That's a pity. I had a lot of hope for that. And that's can I just disable, even though I want that rule for my own code, but maybe that's just a sacrifice that I need to make for getting linting working. So allowing lints, so just allow that across the board. Can turn it into a warning, don't really want that. I'm disappointed now that no deps didn't work, because that kind of sounds like what I want. Oh, and I have clearly allowed, actually, is there a long form for A and D, I wonder? Let's see, do I have man pages here? No, I don't. Maybe cargo Clippy help. Probably don't have less here, yeah, maybe more. So I can just, yeah, so maybe I'll use longhand because I wouldn't have realized that that's what I was doing there. So we're denying those. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now I'll check everything. So I didn't mean to, so I was clearly using that in my other project, but in this project I want to allow, what's it called? Just underscores and digits. Just. I wonder what the rationale for this this is actually. Let's see. That opened up in a new in a different window, so I'll pull it over here. So if the name consists of just underscores and digits. Even though that has more, oh, I see, yeah, i.e. there are no letters in it. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, let's see, does that sort out my issue? Okay, so yeah, and now because I am not allowing module name items to start with module names, that is calling me out on naming my functions in the eval module, giving them names that start with eval. So whether I want to rename the functions or rename the module, bit of a tricky one because I feel that the like I was saying, yeah, like eval statement on its own, like I want my function names to be kind of actions or sound like actions, whereas just statement on its own wouldn't. For example, so unless I call the module evaluator, like evaluator, or what else could I do there? Let me think. I suppose it's not too much of an issue for the moment. I can what I can do is maybe if I create a why did I have that commented out? Oh, probably because of the make file having, or just a couple of files having commented out stuff. What I could do is, for the moment, I can basically, just so I can forget about this issue for the moment, I can allow module name repetitions, and what I want to do then is add a pre-commit hook so that I can make sure that, so basically I want to remember not to commit module name repetitions. I thought of adding a Git hook like this to a lot of my projects, actually. This is the first time I've actually done it. Yeah, and that's all good, and that's the default thing. So let's see if I grep. Yeah, I want to grep in all files, and I want to make sure that I don't find so if I grep in all files, I don't want to find NOCOMMIT. So if I find it, then I want to echo boo and exit. I need to make sure that I'm using single quotes here so that these backticks don't get evaluated. Files were found containing no commit message keyword, and that'll go to standard error. And let's see if that works actually. Just as a test, I will try adding everything and then doing a commit. I'll remove everything from staging then, just in case. Or no, actually, I'll just add one. Oh, I can't reset head here, can I actually? Git rm cached. That's interesting. And yeah, we'll try just adding the readme for now. And git commit initial commit. I wonder why that took so long to return. I'm obviously doing something very silly, but is it just that the grep is taking ages? Maybe I can ignore some files. I'm not sure where. Oh, it's probably going into target and going through all the subdirectories. Let's see, what could I do? Maybe if I, yeah, how do I exclude directories using grep? I can never remember off the top of my head. I could pipe the results of find to grep, but there might be a built-in way. Grep ignore directory. Sorry, I'll do it in this grep ignore directory. Yeah, combine find and grep. Not really wanting to open up that kind of worms. So exclude dir. What's the problem with using exclude dir? Yeah, I could use Silver Surfer. I've never actually installed it. I'm sure it'd save a lot of headaches for me, but it takes me a long time to actually get around to trying all these innovative things. Yeah, maybe that'd be as easy to just use exclude dir. Precommit, and we want to do exclude dir is equal to target. Yeah, and that's a lot quicker. Nice one. Do I want to add numbers? So in files, yeah, that looks a little nicer. Cool, so now I won't accidentally commit that before, yeah, I just won't accidentally commit that, and so hopefully I'll address that issue before I come to it. So what do I want to do next? Let's see. So that's Clippy resolved finally, thankfully. Not the exact way I wanted, but it'll do for now. In fact, better add a comment to say why we're ignoring that one. So mhm. Mm, what's the terminology that they use in Clippy? Oops. So if you fail a check or something, what's it called? What's the terminology that they use so that we can be consistent? Allowing and denying lints. A collection of lints. So that's what Clippy calls those rules or patterns that it finds. Which is how much. Because creates variables that fail Clippy checks, that trigger Clippy lints. Because the code generated by LALRPOP creates that are denied by this lint. Yeah, and that's consistent, I think, with the terminology that that Rust uses or that Clippy uses. Can I uncomment that now? Actually, well, I'll have to fix the punctuation on that. So if I do a make check, comment style doesn't exist. I probably didn't reinstall it after the build here. Oh no. Did I? Ooh, in Slim, wget is not installed by default. That's another one that we want. And Python 3 likely isn't installed either. Python 3 pip probably installs it as a dependency, but might as well make it explicit. What was that? A red line. Okay. I should probably silence that wget call, but anyway. Make check. So some comment style issues. My range act and assert, and I removed data test in the thumbnail. Yeah, so I'll remove that. And why doesn't comment style fail the check? That that shouldn't continue processing once once it finds issues. That's a little worrying. I'll have to update that project at some point. Anyway, unknown lint module name repetitions, so that's using underscores instead of, oh no, it isn't. Unknown lint Clippy module name repetitions requested on the, oh, that's just bad old typo. Repetitions. Thought it looked odd, but I didn't know why. Repetitions. Oof, lots of stuff going wrong now. What are all these? So these are all in my code. Well, still some stuff from the auto-generated code. Oof. Yeah, fair bit to work through now. That's very disappointing because I don't like. I want to check for these in my code, but I don't want failures in the dependencies to make it mean that I can't check for them in my code. Oh well. Equal expressions as operands to equals. Okay, I'll remove that for now. Actually, one thing I had decided in the interim as well is that even though it'll be a little bit more work to set up initially, I will be writing tests as integration tests by writing the command on the command line and kind of parsing the results as opposed to kind of running the parser as part of unit tests. So let's see, what's the issue here? Line 49, print. This function's return value is unnecessarily wrapped by result. Now, why is that? Is it because it knows that because there are no other branches, but I need that to fulfill an interface for private functions that only return OK or sum. Yeah, so if it's always returning sum, then you can just omit that. But in my case, this needs to, oh, there's a extra white space there. Maybe if I make the type explicit here, and I say that's a hash map of what? Of functions. How do I define a function again? Or the function type. So if I go to a val, I believe that that's using function type. Yeah, and maybe I can make a type alias for that. Excuse me. Function value. I just do type. Func value. func value instead of fn value, just so don't run the risk of, just for consistency with func and to avoid running into issues with, using the same names as Rust uses for this stuff. So let's try this. I'm not sure if this will cause issues with, say, wrapping and unwrapping the type, but we'll give it a shot. First we go cargo build. And then can I do that? All right. Do I still need that then? I assume so. Yeah. And let's shrink this a little so that I have a bit more code editor space. Not too much. There we go. And next, if I add an explicit type here, will that mean that I won't get that complaint? Oh, I don't want that to be, I don't even want that to be a func value. I want it to just be a value. And a mapping of string to values. Private type alias. Yeah, I didn't publish it, but I don't think I'll need it for the moment. Let's try this. All right then, and then if I do it like that, will Flippy still give out to me about it? Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I suppose, like, I don't like putting lint exceptions into code directly. I'm not sure that I really have a choice in this situation. So allow and Clippy single match unnecessary. And does that have underscores? Yeah, unnecessary wraps. And I'll add a comment to describe why it's being triggered and why it's being allowed. Yeah, I've encountered this kind of an issue before with Clippy. I find it difficult to actually just constrain it to a single function. So inner attributes like that annotate the item enclosing them. So that would be at the start of the file. So to have it on just that, I probably remove that as it. Okay, yeah, so yeah, it's giving me a lot of issues about this thing or this function just because it's matching matching an interface. Maybe this will be another no commit thing. Resolve Clippy issues. And for the moment, yeah, Clippy will allow needless pass by value. It can change it to a borrowed value. Yeah, I probably should eventually. I'm glad, like I'm really glad for to Clippy for things like that, where it gives you tips on, you know, kind of making your say borrows and things more efficient. But at the moment, just wanting to get things done. So this loop could be rewritten as a while let. Yeah, that would be really nice. While let some. That's very cool. I like that. Check. This could be as a 4s. Nice, nice one. Yeah, I like the look of that. 4s in lines. Yeah. Thanks, Clippy. Yeah, no, this is fantastic stuff. These are the reason. This is the reason I like Clippy on the highest settings. I apply to all my files from the start because it just catches so much that, like, again, you can catch yourself, but it's nice to just be told it and save your kind of mental power for other things. Variable doesn't need to be mutable. That's just that one. I could potentially even, that's probably all right the way it is. In fact, that's going to be going into another file anyway, but however, yeah, and this is the stack of allowances we're going to have to give for Clippy for LALRPOP. Let me just see. LALRPOP Clippy. So this is from 2017. So it would be very useful to be able to specify. So maybe we'll be able to constrain this because actually, yeah, this isn't even a dependency issue. This is actually within the project being generated by LALRPOP. So it's, it's even within the current workspace. Yeah, it makes sense that the no-deps flag wasn't catching this. So it would be very useful to specify that ahead of the grammar. And it looks like that is related to a something that actually or is related to a pull request that actually resolves it. So let's see. Can I do this? This would be very nice now if it worked. Ooh, no, Clippy. An inner attribute isn't permitted. So it has to be put before the use. Was that what I was saying earlier? Not allowed to write between use and grammar notations. Okay, does this have any examples of its use? LALRPOP macro can accept attributes like this. I feel like just, yeah, adding that to the generated code when it fails so many checks would make more sense. But let's see if well, that's kind of funky. Not sure how I feel about that, but if that's how it needs to be done, although I'm not sure how I would integrate that myself. Is it like this? I'm not sure where that should go. Couldn't read the grammar. As a parser. Parser, oh yeah. And I probably don't need to call it pub. And Clippy all. I'll do that. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, I'll be quite honest. And no rules expected this in the call. Still getting a lot of errors, fewer than before, but still a lot, I feel. Yeah, it's fewer than before at least. Where are these showing up? They're still going into. Let's actually take a look at the file that gets generated here. So we've target debug, build, norpal, D67, D67, out, parser. And where's Clippy being added? Clippy isn't being added to this file, it seems. If I take a quick look in here, grep or Clippy, it's not being handled anywhere in there. It's in norpal, one of the norpal files. That's probably my stuff. That's probably not LALRPOP. What to do? Like, is what I just added even doing anything? So this is getting kind of recent as an issue. So that's 1.6. I believe I'm on 1.9 in terms of LALRPOP. I think that's the issue I was just in. That goes to proof of concept. Let's see if any of these help out. Yeah, and this was the issue I've been on before. Oh, nice. We're getting fairly recent. Or maybe this wasn't the one I was looking at. Yeah, that's what I think too. It looks, and if it's just one file, then it doesn't seem to have been injected. Do I have to put in new lines? Kind of Stack Overflow style programming here. We're just copy pasting whatever and seeing what works. I can validate this and produce any errors with generated code. Okay, I found the build file. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well. After adding that. Okay. Is it that? Like if I put in Clippy trivially copy pass by ref, maybe it is getting added, but yeah. So maybe these things are getting added. It's just that they're not being captured by all by value. Okay, yeah, it looks like the number of errors are going down now anyway. Sign loss. So these don't seem to get captured by all. So let's see what groups they're in. Pedantic. So if I say pedantic, are those going to go? Associated functions are used. And that's dead code. Kind of a link to that. In fact, yeah, if I pull up my make file and see all the rules that I'm using. So I have pedantic, cargo, and cargo. That shouldn't make a difference, should it? Cargo. Dead code. Does that have to be lowercase? If I put it in there, it does, doesn't it? Oh, that's what if I changed my make file to ignore that, because we can ignore this one now anyway, and dead code. So that's not actually a Clippy issue, so is it? Interesting. Associated function is never used, implied by D warnings. Clippy dead code. I'm not actually sure what is being generated by, because Clippy usually gives a URL, doesn't it? So it's the compiler provides it. So you actually, interesting. But if I get rid of that, they're warnings. Oh, so it turns the compiler warnings into errors. Oh, so can I do warn allow dead code? Or I can, yeah. So I can put all my and can I sort these? They're already sorted. Whew, that took a while, but at least now that is doing what I want, and I might be able to share some of that knowledge. It's kind of interesting to me that, like that other person noticed that it doesn't get injected into this output file, but yeah, not quite sure what's going on there. Let's see. Do I have anything else I want to do then as part of Clippy? No. Wow, that only took ages. So we're allowing that stuff for the moment, so I'll get rid of these comments. And I'll do my make check again. Yeah, and that's great. There are some issues with comment style, but I should be able to resolve that later. What to do next? So I'll only give it another, I suppose, 10 minutes, but what do I want to do with that? Yeah, I suppose get started on the testing. Wow, that did take a good long time. Yeah, so I suppose I'll just get to adding these tests. CLI mod already exists. So I'll get rid of it in, is there a test.rs that I already have? No, I don't see it anywhere. Mod.rs. Oh yeah, that's what that was finding earlier. So what I'm going to do here is I would have liked to do kind of, yeah, macro generation of all these kind of tests, but so that it integrate nicely with the Rust test runner. But because I want to, define my tests in these kind of specially formatted files, I won't be able to process, like I could potentially include them at the time of macro expansion, but I don't think I'd be able to process them. I assume not. Let me see. Rust macro expand include. Oh, I thought I saw somewhere that you could include files. So yeah, this is still the ideal, but I'd have to generate all of these from files. And for something like that, I'd actually have to use code generation as opposed to macros. And I might get to that sometime, but I don't want to put up too many obstacles in my own path. So what we'll do for now is have a setup thing where we read the test file, split it into its constituent part, and define all these tests, and then run the CLI tool for each test case and evaluate the output versus the expected output. So yeah, so we have one of these sample tests. So let's start with that. So there's the source, there's the target. We'd probably want to put that source somewhere, because the interpreter is probably going to want to take a source file. And what's the best way for doing that? Could just copy that from my other project as well. I might have to do that. For the moment, we'll just kind of hard code some stuff and yeah, we'll just hard code the first sample file. So we'll go print dot. Actually, didn't think about what the extensions for this language would be, so we'll say npl. And so that'll get output to print.npl, and here we will actually run the command. So this is something that will be pulled from my my other project. So test setup. So this project did a bunch of stuff at the start of each test, such as creating these different scratch directories and things. I think it also grabbed the path of the actual test command, though I'm not seeing it here. Let me see. CMD, oh, test setup, new test CMD. Okay, so it goes, grabs it from cargo bin and sets all these values. So I could probably use the same same functionality here. Whoops. And the argument will be, so the root test directory. So for the moment, we'll say that. Yeah, I did think that setting all this up would be complicated, but I think it's the right thing to do. New test command, and for now we'll just say tests. Or no, Parser and clear argument. source file. All right then, and then so that'll be print.npm. And in fact, don't really need to worry about the current directory. So for the moment, we'll just do it like this. So cmd, and that's cmd. How's that being called? And I also have to actually set it up. So a search command. So that is a crate I'll have to add. And that'll just be dot assert. Oh, do I want to do it that way? Yeah. And that'll give me command output, I believe, cmd result, yeah. And then down here I can check all the things that I want. So I can check that the code is 0. I can check that the standard out is of the format that I want, which is just going to be target. And for this test, or for some of these tests, the standard error is just going to be expected to be empty. All right. So before this output, NOCOMMIT output source to that. Oops. And that should be all right for test number 1. Lots of typos. And then the last thing to do is to probably import that test module. Keep clicking on cross.toml instead of cargo.toml. Anyway, dependencies, dev dependencies, assert command. I might import indoc at some point. I do like that just for making multi-line strings look a bit nicer, in my opinion. So that'll be dev dependencies, is it? Dev with a hyphen. Build dependencies versus dev dependencies. Not sure what the difference is there, but cargo test. Running 0 tests. Ooh, nice. So what's the issue here? How do I run integration tests? Let's check my old make file. Cargo. Do I have stuff commented out? Oh yeah. Because I don't have the module stuff set up correctly. So that, I'm guessing. So I've now mod CLI, so that might pick them up. So let's source. Yeah, I'm missing a big load of semicolons, and on line 15, expect a string found that. So again, not worrying about too much about performance. cannot borrow as mutable. That's not used at the moment. So failed var. So not found. No such file or directory. So I'm guessing that's just because. Well, let me just double check that. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's just because main isn't being built. Although target debug normal. Oh yeah, it's because it's just not set up to handle files at all. It's got no argument parsing. It's got no anything just yet. But I feel like it shouldn't crash on line 38. File open source.test. Oh yeah, I renamed that. So yeah, so I'll be putting this in my test file instead. And yeah, that about brings us up to date. Yeah. More fun testing. Yeah, a lot of boilerplate to work through, but I'll be happier when that's done. Anyway, cool. Thanks for checking it out, and see everyone again.